The sun crept through the thin curtains of the small apartment, illuminating the worn-out furniture and the clutter of toys scattered across the living room floor. The familiar sound of the alarm clock buzzed insistently, pulling Lisa from the warmth of her dreams. She rolled over, glancing at the clock. 6:30 a.m. Another day, another race against time. "Mark, time to get up," she called, already feeling the weight of the day settling on her shoulders. She could hear Daniel's soft snores drifting from his room, while Mia's hair was a chaotic mess as she stumbled into the kitchen, her eyes still bleary from sleep. "Mom, do we have any cereal left?" Mia asked, squinting at the half-empty box on the counter. "Just a little," Lisa replied, pouring the last of the cereal into bowls, her heart sinking at the thought of grocery shopping later that week. She couldn't shake the feeling of inadequacy as a mother. Why couldn't she manage their finances better? "Don't forget your lunch, Mia," Lisa called out as her daughter dashed toward the door, shoving her homework into her backpack. "I won't," Mia shouted back, and with that, they were off, Mark leading the way to the car, the kids trailing behind. Lisa took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. "Please subscribe, thank you." She couldn't shake the feeling that she was on a treadmill, running but never getting anywhere. As she climbed into the car, she caught a glimpse of the eviction notice taped to their front door. The anxiety bubbled up again, and she forced a smile, turning to her family. "Let's have a great day." The day dragged on, each tick of the clock echoing louder than the last. At work, Lisa sat at her desk, staring blankly at her computer screen, the numbers blurring together. The vibrant chatter of her coworkers faded into the background, their laughter a reminder of the joy she was struggling to feel. She glanced at the stack of bills in her bag, the bright envelopes taunting her. In the office break room, her colleague, Sarah, chatted about her upcoming vacation. Lisa couldn't help but feel a twinge of envy. It must be nice to get away, she forced a smile. "I haven't taken a vacation in, well, forever." "Yeah, I hear you. You should treat yourself. Work hard, play hard, right?" Sarah laughed, oblivious to the weight of Lisa's reality. "Right," Lisa replied, her voice barely above a whisper. As she poured herself a cup of coffee, the bitter taste mirrored her frustration. Meanwhile, at home, Mark was juggling work and the kids. He sat at the kitchen table, papers strewn across the surface, bills scattered like fallen leaves. Mia was in the living room, doing her homework, while Daniel played with his action figures nearby. "Dad, can I have a new video game?" Daniel asked, his eyes wide with hope. Mark hesitated, running a hand through his hair. "Maybe for your birthday, buddy," he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. The thought of spending money on a game was daunting, especially with the past due notices looming overhead. Mia looked up from her homework, sensing the tension. "Dad, are we going to go camping like last year?" she asked, her voice hopeful. Mark's heart sank. "I don't know, Mia. We have to see how things go with money first," he said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Just then, Lisa walked in, her shoulders heavy with the day's burdens. "Hey, guys, how was your day?" she asked, attempting to maintain the facade of normalcy. "Fine," Mia said, not looking up from her homework. "Dad said we might not be able to go camping," Daniel chimed in, his face falling. "Oh, buddy, I'm sure we'll find a way," Lisa replied, ruffling his hair. But inside, she felt the same knot tightening. The thought of telling her kids they might have to skip another family tradition stung more than she wanted to admit. Later that night, as the family sat down for dinner, the conversation turned awkward. The tension in the air was palpable. "Lisa, have you had a chance to look at the budget?" Mark asked, his tone cautious. Lisa sighed, putting down her fork. "I did, but it's tight, Mark. We can't keep ignoring it. The groceries alone are costing us so much." "I know," Mark said, frustration creeping into his voice. "But we can't just cut everything out. The kids need to eat. They need normalcy. What about our needs?" Lisa snapped back, her anxiety spilling over. "We're barely keeping it together here." The argument hung in the air, both parents feeling the weight of their struggles. In the background, Mia and Daniel exchanged worried glances, sensing the storm brewing between their parents. In the background, Mia and Daniel exchanged worried glances, sensing the storm brewing between their parents. "I'm just trying to keep us afloat," Mark said quietly, his voice breaking. Me too, Lisa whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. But it feels like we're drowning. The following week, just as the family was starting to find some rhythm, a crisis struck. Daniel woke up with a high fever, his little body trembling as he lay on the couch. Lisa felt her heart drop as she rushed to his side. "Mommy, I don't feel good," Daniel whimpered, tears glistening in his eyes. "We're going to the doctor, buddy," she reassured him, her voice steady even as panic swirled in her chest. She glanced at Mark, who nodded, already reaching for the car keys. As they drove to the clinic, the worry etched on their faces was palpable. Lisa's mind raced with thoughts of what this might cost them. Could they afford the doctor's visit? Would there be more tests? Each question sent a jolt of anxiety through her. When they arrived, the waiting room was filled with children and parents, each one wearing a mask of concern. Lisa held Daniel close, feeling the warmth of his little body against her. After what felt like an eternity, they were finally called in. The doctor diagnosed Daniel with a viral infection, something that would run its course but required rest and fluids. Relief washed over Lisa, but the looming cost of the visit still haunted her. That night, after putting the kids to bed, Lisa and Mark sat in the dim light of the living room, the silence thick with unspoken worries. "Are we going to be okay?" Mark asked, breaking the silence. "I don't know," Lisa admitted, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I just feel like I'm failing as a mother. I can't even keep my kids healthy without worrying about the bills." Mark reached for her hand, squeezing it gently. "We're in this together. We just need to find a way to navigate it." But as Lisa lay in bed that night, she felt a heavy weight pressing down on her chest, and the tears flowed freely. She realized they couldn't keep going like this without addressing their mental health. The next evening, after dinner, Lisa and Mark gathered the kids around the table. It was time for a family meeting, a chance to share feelings openly. "Hey, everyone," Lisa began, her voice shaking slightly. "We need to talk about some things." Mia and Daniel exchanged curious glances, sensing the seriousness in their parents' tones. "Mom and I have been feeling a lot of pressure lately," Mark continued. "We want you to know that it's not your fault." "What do you mean?" Mia asked, her brow furrowing. Lisa took a deep breath. "Sometimes, we struggle with money, and it makes us stressed. We want to make sure you both understand what's happening so we can all support each other." Daniel's eyes widened. "Are we going to lose the house?" "No, buddy," Lisa reassured him quickly. "We're going to figure this out together. We just need to be honest about our feelings and help each other." Mia, always the observant one, spoke up. "I've noticed you guys arguing a lot." "It makes me feel scared." Mark nodded, guilt washing over him. "I'm sorry, Mia. We're learning how to communicate better. It's hard sometimes. Can we do something together?" Daniel asked, his innocent voice breaking the tension. "Like a family challenge," Lisa smiled, wiping away her tears. "That's a great idea, Daniel. We could try cooking together or find free activities to do as a family." The conversation shifted, the kids' laughter filling the room as they brainstormed ideas. The following weekend, the family set out to explore community resources. They visited the local community center, where they discovered a range of free classes and activities. Lisa found a support group for parents, where she met others facing similar struggles. They shared stories, tips, and coping strategies, and Lisa felt a sense of relief wash over her. She wasn't alone in this fight. Mark took the kids to a free cooking class at the center, where they learned to make simple, healthy meals. The instructor emphasized the importance of nutrition on a budget, and the kids eagerly joined in, measuring ingredients and mixing bowls. At home, they started to implement what they learned. Mia and Daniel helped Lisa prepare meals, and Mark joined in, turning cooking into a fun family activity. They experimented with new recipes, celebrating each successful dish with laughter and excitement. As weeks passed, the family's routine began to change. They started walking to school together, enjoying the fresh air and the time spent chatting. Lisa noticed a change in her mood, the exercise helping to ease her anxiety. On weekends, they explored free community events, discovering local parks and outdoor activities. They played soccer, rode bikes, and even took family hikes, making memories and enjoying each other's company. One Saturday, after a successful hike, they sat together on a picnic blanket, sharing snacks and stories. Mark looked at his family, a smile spreading across his face. "You know, I never thought I'd enjoy a hike this much. We should do this more often." Daniel grinned, crumbs of granola bar dotting his face. "Can we make it a tradition?" "Absolutely," Lisa agreed, feeling a sense of hope wash over her. They were building connections, not just through their struggles but through shared experiences. As the family settled into their new routine, they held regular family meetings to discuss their progress and feelings. Each meeting became a safe space for everyone to share their thoughts, whether it was about finances or personal struggles. Lisa introduced gratitude journaling, encouraging each family member to write down something they were thankful for every day. Mark found solace in this practice, feeling more grounded as he reflected on the positives in their lives. Daniel started taking more responsibility, helping his younger sister with homework and chores. "We're a team, right?" he said, beaming with pride as he took on his new role. One evening, during their family meeting, they celebrated their progress. "We've made some big changes," Lisa said, her heart swelling with pride. "I'm so grateful for how we're supporting each other." Just when things seemed to be falling into place, a setback struck. Mark came home one evening with a worried expression, clutching an envelope from work. "I'm sorry, but they're cutting back hours," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know how we're going to manage." The weight of his words hung in the air like a storm cloud. Lisa's heart sank as she processed the implications. "What does this mean for us?" she asked, her voice trembling. "It means we might have to tighten our belts even more," Mark replied, running a hand through his hair. "I'm so sorry. I don't want this to affect the kids." That night, as they lay in bed, Lisa felt the familiar knot of anxiety returning. But instead of retreating into silence, they turned to each other, sharing their fears and insecurities. "We'll get through this," Mark reassured her, pulling her close. "We just have to stay strong together." Through therapy and community support, Lisa and Mark learned coping strategies that helped them manage stress and anxiety. They incorporated breathing exercises and mindfulness into their daily routines, encouraging the kids to join in. One evening, they gathered in the living room for a family meditation session. Mia giggled as they all sat cross-legged, trying to focus. "Just breathe, like this," Mark instructed, demonstrating exaggerated breaths. Laughter filled the room, breaking the tension and reminding them of the joy they shared. As the weeks went by, the kids learned about mental health at school, and they brought those lessons home. "It's okay to not be okay," Mia told her parents one night, her voice serious. "We just have to talk about it." The family grew closer, understanding that supporting each other through their struggles was just as important as tackling financial issues. Finally, after months of hard work and resilience, the family celebrated a small victory. They managed to save enough money to take a day trip to a nearby lake. The excitement buzzed in the air as they packed snacks, sunscreen, and a picnic blanket. When they arrived, the beauty of the lake took their breath away. The sun sparkled on the water, and the kids raced ahead, laughter echoing through the trees. As they spread out their picnic, Lisa and Mark exchanged a look of gratitude. "We made it," Mark said, his voice filled with pride. Together, Lisa added, watching their kids play, their hearts light. As the sun set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, Lisa reflected on their journey. They had faced challenges and setbacks, but they had emerged stronger, closer as a family. "Here's to new beginnings," Mark toasted with his drink, the family clinking cups together, the sound ringing out like a promise. And as the stars began to twinkle above, Lisa realized they were just getting started. I hope you find this video helpful if you're struggling as a family. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.